Hi guys, welcome to another video. I am doing a kind of book recommendation thing today, and yeah, it's gonna be my favorite sci-fi books, which are not a lot because I don't super love sci-fi. It's very specific what kind of sci-fi I like. You will see a theme with the ones that we are going to talk about today, and you'll see what kind of sci-fi I actually do like. And yeah, so I thought for the occasion that we would, you know, do the whole theme up. So I got my serotonin earrings, you know, my serotonin molecules, and I have a dress that's all math and science. Two things I'm the worst at, and that's why the dress is funny. I'm actually kind of really excited because okay, so if you've been on my Instagram at all, which you totally should, go follow it. I think it's linked at the end of this, and it'll be linked down below too, so you should go check it out. I love books, and I love writing, and that's what I'm trying to do with my entire life, and that's why I'm going to school right now. And yeah, it's like books are kind of my entire life, and I love them. So I also did a little bit of glitter here for, you know, the stars in sci-fi. Can't ever say no to glitter, am I right? So yeah, I am just so excited to talk about books. We're going to be doing that a lot more often here, because I have a bunch of different categories I want to talk to you guys about, and I thought of this one earlier this week, and I am just so excited to get started. I'm gonna try not to talk too fast, but again, it's just an excitement thing. I love talking about books, and so we might have to just kind of deal with it. I don't know. I will do my best though. Okay, so the first one on this list, I made the first one on purpose because it is the mother of all sci-fi. It is the creation of the sci-fi genre. This is the first sci-fi novel ever written, and it defined the genre as pretty much as we know it. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. So this book it's kind of a frame tale. It starts out with Walton. He's an Arctic explorer, and like he's so excited because they're going to discover a new land, and there's like all this stuff, and he's like super hype about it. But he feels kind of lonely because everyone around him isn't as like interested in book learning and books and that kind of intellectual pursuits as he is. So Walton is kind of bummed out, you know, he's not having a great time. He's writing letters to his sister, and that's how we meet him. And then they find a guy just floating out in the Arctic waters, and that's Victor Frankenstein, from which one of the perspectives of the novel is told. That is one of that's the next frame. There's several frames here. But like, Victor then tells Walton his story about how he let his like fanatical pursuit of knowledge just drive him insane and like completely just ruin his life. And it's kind of a cautionary tale against like, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. So, you know, and so Walton is basically, he's writing this to his sister as Frankenstein is telling him, and it's Frankenstein the doctor. The monster is actually not called Frankenstein at all. I cannot stress that enough. I feel like comic book guy in The Simpsons, and it's like, actually, the monster's name isn't even Frankenstein, but it's not. The monster's name is the monster. He has no name, which kind of adds to the point of his narrative in this story, because like the monster is okay, so Victor creates the monster at school because I can't remember if nobody told him to stop reading the he got his hands on some really outdated, really bad for him books, but I can't remember if it's that somebody told him to stop reading them or they didn't tell him soon enough. He gets this idea to create life. He thinks that he can create life, but he ends up creating this thing. Like, he gives himself so many mental illnesses while he does this because he's so fanatic about it. And so Frankenstein creates the monster, freaks out when he sees it, and just bails. Like, he's just like, he noped out of that entire situation. Then when he and the monster are reunited, because the monster is actively alive at this point, like, he is around, you know, we get another frame, you know, the monster story, and then I'm not going to tell you anymore because I am already worried that I'm in spoiler territory. But I don't think that it is, because everybody kind of knows that Frankenstein creates the monster, you know, and that the monster is the monster. So we are gonna put the brakes on that because I do not want to spoil it, and I feel like I'm getting close. So we're gonna stop that. Anyway, Frankenstein by Mary Shelley was written. I can't remember if this was true or if I found out that this was a lie later, but like, Mary Shelley was already married to Percy Shelley, I think, were with some friends. They got like stormed in to where they were staying. They couldn't go anywhere. They were so bored. So they all decided to have a contest to see who could write the scariest story. And your girl Mary Shelley won. Her Frankenstein is basically the first science fiction novel ever written, and it defined the genre. It created the genre. So that's why I felt like this one deserves to be at the top of the list, because come on. So I had to read this one for one of my classes this year. It was either this year or last year. I think it was last year in like August. Yeah, last year, August. I had to read this for one of my classes and we had to dissect it. And actually I really like it, and this was my first like taste of this author's work, and I actually really dig it. Like, I bought 2 more from this author recently, but it is Klara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro. So this one is about a android, or an artificial friend as they call them, who they're in a shop, and basically people can go and buy these artificial friends and take them home, and they'll just be like your buddy, your pal, because they exist entirely to be your friend. And so Klara gets, you know, adopted, and so she goes home with Josie, who has chronic illness, and Klara tries to find a way to cure Josie, and it's so nice. I really liked this book. I like devoured it when we had to read it for class, and it has so many like, it's really nice. Klara thinks the sun is like, because they're all solar powered, and I guess though it kind of is, she thinks the sun is basically God. So she's trying to like convince the sun to help Josie, but the sun is actually just the sun, you know, it's not gonna really do much. But so the sun gives Klara hope. Basically, she thinks that if she can fight pollution, the sun will help Josie. You know, and then again, putting the brakes here because I'm trying super duper hard not to spoil it. I am trying so hard. This is hard because all I want to do is just talk, and I don't want to spoil anything. But anyway, highly recommend Klara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro. Actually, I'm trying to put an S in there. It's Kazuo Ishiguro. And actually, again, this was my first taste of Ishiguro's work. I really liked it, so I ended up getting The Buried Giant, which I'm reading right now, and Never Let Me Go, which he won a Nobel Prize for. So I will probably do review videos for those if you guys want to see them. Our next book is, it's by one of my personal favorites. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, I love all of them here. But, I love all of them here, that's why we're talking about this. But, I love Ray Bradbury so much, and just by saying that, I'm sure you can tell what this book is gonna be. But it's Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury, who I love a lot. I've got several Ray Bradbury books about in the house. I can't ever remember what shelf I put anything on because there's so many bookshelves. So Fahrenheit 451 is about a dystopian future where sorry, my brain just gone. it just totally flatlined just now. It's about a guy who is a fireman, and that means that he burns books. And Fahrenheit 451 is the heat with which books burn, I think I read somewhere. And so this dude he burns books because they live in a dystopian future where you're not allowed to read, and you're not allowed to think, and you're not allowed to have any of that. So the dude he meets a scientist that gives him like this concept that you're able to think and like feel your own feelings and do your own thing. And so he has to deal with that, and he's got to deal with like this dystopian future and everything, and it's so good. I have so many copies of this one. So I have like 4 or 5 copies of this one book, and I am gonna hold on to every single one of them because I love Ray Bradbury. Ray Bradbury's the best. I really like his collection of short stories in the October Country, but that's not what this video is about. This is about Fahrenheit 451, which I highly recommend. It is very good. It is one of the classics. In fact, I actually think it's on the banned book list, which the next one is too. But yeah, so I think Fahrenheit 451 is on the banned book list, which is a little bit ironic if you think about it. Yeah, so our next one is one you've probably seen on Hulu, because I know I have. The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. So, The Handmaid's Tale is a dystopian future, much like 1984. Much like 1984, where you can't, like, there's, in fact, actually, I think Atwood took a lot of inspiration from 1984, because there's a lot of stuff in here that's kind of the same vibe, you know, and like I think they call computers Computex in here. It's actually, the world that they have in the book, like the OG Handmaid's Tale world, is different from the one in the show, because instead of calling them computers, they call them Computex. They just have those like very 1984 names for things, but it basically follows a woman named Offred. That is not her actual name. That is the name given to her in Gilead, where she has become a handmaid, and the handmaids have to. They're assigned commanders who are these high-ranking dudes in Gilead who they can't have kids. Like, them and their wives, they can't have their own kids, so they get these handmaids, impregnate them, and then like just raise the kids on their own, and the handmaid just goes through their next posting. So it's basically about Offred, her experience in this. It has really good flashbacks to like before everything happened. It's just about this really like intense world, and it's also on the banned book list. This one I know for a fact is. I have a mug somewhere in here. So, it's up on my shelf. That is, when it's cold, it has all the banned book names, but they're redacted. When you put hot water in it, it fills it up, and like all the redacted parts come clear, and you can see all the names on the banned book list, which I cannot. I hate the idea of a banned book list. I hate that exists, and that is, you get me started on that, and I will not shut up. But so this is really good. If you like 1984, you'll like this. I think it's intense, but it's not like overly intense. They don't, as far as I remember, it's been a bit since I've read it, but as far as I remember, they're not super graphic about the certain scenes. But anyway, so it's the prose is really odd, and I've tried to like I love it. I love the way she writes this. The prose is really odd because it's so fragmented, and they actually say that at one point. Basically, Offred is telling the story in fragments, and it feels like it. It feels very like stream of consciousness, and I think that's really interesting, and I have actually not read anything like it since this. And now we're on to our last one on this list, one that I have read quite a few times, once for class, and it's super weird. Like, it's super weird, but like in a good kind of, it's like it's one of those books that you look at and go, this was actually really artistically written because nobody does it like this anymore. But it's The Road by Cormac McCarthy. And basically it's a post-apocalyptic novel about this man with his son, and they're east. That's west. They're east, and they're going west to like California because his son heard somewhere that it's better in California, that there's no rampant cannibalism, which there is where they're at. There's no sunlight. All the plants are dead. All the animals are dead. They describe everything as being super gray a lot, so it's that too. And then, they're going west because supposedly things are better, but I think the dad doesn't think so. He's just like, well, we're not exactly busy. We don't exactly have a full schedule here, so why not? Sure, let's go west. So they go west, and then they meet all these kinds of people, and then, but the thing that makes it really different is that there is no quotations. And McCarthy does this a lot. This is actually very telling of his author style, because we talked about this in one of my classes, because we were talking about formatting and like dialogue tags and stuff like that. And basically they were just saying, there are tons of ways to do it. You could do it this way, this way, or this way. And one of the ways was McCarthy's way, which it seems super hard to do. Like, I don't think I could do it that way, but so I might try something like that once, just to see how it goes. Maybe I'll make that one of my newsletter short stories. I don't know. You guys would like that, right? But like, look at this. That's all dialogue. There's no quotes. But like, the way he does it is just super good. And like, you don't feel lost. And if you do, not for very long. McCarthy is a master with that style, and that's why I always associate it with McCarthy. But there's also a movie called The Road, which is very good. Very good. Sticks super close to the book. The kid in there, oh my god, you want to cry. That kid will make you cry. No joke. I'm not kidding around here. And so I highly recommend The Road by Cormac McCarthy. I will never stop recommending this. This was actually one of the books I had to read for my I think it was my pop culture. No, it wasn't my pop culture class. It was my lit theory class. One of my classes. I don't remember. I really think it was lit theory though, because we had to read this, The Hunger Games, and Gone Girl, and I was like, bet I have all those books already. This is the best part of hoarding books. When you need them for school, you already have them. So, yeah, that's great. But yeah, highly recommend. It is very slow. It is very slow. If you're coming in here looking for The Walking Dead, you are not going to get The Walking Dead here. It is so good, but it is so slow. I will just put that out there now. So slow. So, did you notice a theme while we were reading these? All of the sci-fi novels that I really like are like humanistic based. Like they're humanistic stories about like a dystopia and like an apocalypse and like science run amok because we can doesn't mean we should, that kind of vibe. And I really hope that came across and that it makes sense, because to me in my head it makes sense, but like you know, I don't know if I articulated it well enough because I'm not a public speaking major. I'm not good at talking. So we are at the end of the video. I am so glad that you guys stuck with me while I rambled about books because I love books a lot. Whew! I, again, feel like I talked way too fast, but now I'm kind of exhausted, but I am really glad that you guys were here. I am glad that you got to hang out with me and talk about my favorite thing in the whole world. We are definitely going to be doing this more because I had a whole lot of fun making this, and I hope you guys had fun watching it. So yeah, we are going to end it here. So thanks for watching. I will see you next time. Bye!